Furious backlash from organisers. Now they're scrambling to try and keep the competition afloat. And a growing number of interstate leaders are also refusing to step in and rescue it. For more, we're joined by former tennis star turned politician MP Sam Groth, Victoria's Shadow Minister for Tourism, Sport and Events. Sam, welcome. Dare I ask how you're feeling today?
Well, Davina, thank you for having me on. And this is honestly a terrible day for Victoria, a terrible time for regional Victoria. The cancellation of the Commonwealth Games, which is supposed to be less than 1,000 days away. Premier Daniel Andrews comes out, cancels the event without really any consultation or notification to either Commonwealth Games Australia or to the Commonwealth Games Federation. And now Victoria and Melbourne standing as what we like to think the events capital of this country is certainly hanging by a thread.
There are a lot of questions here. He says it's a budget blowout. In your opinion, can a budget blowout to that level, 3 times as much potentially?
It's pretty incredible the numbers that Daniel Andrews was able to produce this morning. By their own costings, it was going to cost $2.6 billion to fund the Commonwealth Games. This morning, the number started at $6 billion and then eventually got to $7 billion. And you just have to wonder, with $2 billion that they're supposedly still going to commit to infrastructure and legacy spending in those regions now that the game's been cancelled, where is that other $4 or $5 billion in terms of what it would have cost to deliver the games? Where would that have actually be going? I'd like to see Daniel Andrews and the Victorian Labor government commit to those numbers and show us where those came from. But I think more broadly, I mean, the devastation this causes, both of those regional cities that were supposed to host the games and have the eyes on the world on them for 12 days and what that impact was going to leave for the long term. I
feel for the athletes. As a former athlete yourself, where does this leave you in terms of your training and your preparation and your hopes?
On the back of Paris in 24, the Commonwealth Games could be an opportunity, or would have been an opportunity, for a lot of those athletes to possibly compete on the world stage in Australia for the final time. Now, we're hearing other states aren't going to position. We've heard today on the grapevine that Brisbane and Sydney have both pulled out. Where does this leave Melbourne in the whole scheme of things is the bigger question.
If it doesn't happen in 2026, where does it leave it? Because there have been questions in the past about where it fits on the world stage.
When the Victorian government bid for this and they put it out to regional cities, part of it was actually not just about the games, but it was about being able to deliver for regional areas for the long term. I think that Daniel Andrews has let the whole Commonwealth community down today. I'm hopeful, obviously, from a former athlete point of view and from someone who loves seeing Australia and Victoria host these global events. I'm hoping the Commonwealth Games finds another home for 2026 and it's not the end. But only time will tell. Was there room to negotiate with the federal government to get them to step in and rescue it? We know that the Andrews Labor government was trying to secure up to $1 billion of funding from the federal government to get the games to go ahead. It was written into all their budget papers that there would be a contribution from the federal government. Now, that money hadn't been put on the table by the Labor government federally. You just wonder whether that's also contributed. But you also have to question, it wasn't too long ago that the government here in Victoria actually pitched for these games. They're the ones that went out and did the numbers. They're the ones that said they were going to do this. And I think it's coming home to roost a little bit now that when the budget is in the dire state that it is, like it is here in Victoria, you know, at some point sacrifices are going to be made. And at the moment, the government's not holding up their end of the bargain. And they're lying, literally lying to Victorians about what they're able to deliver on. Certainly a bombshell day, Sam. Thank you so much.